Ciao friends, it's Liz from Simple Italian Cooking. Thanks so much for joining. I've got a really cool recipe for you today, and it is baked Italian chicken nugget. And here's kind of a healthier version where you can kind of omit the olive oil and the frying and all of that, and instead we're just going to bake it in the oven. So let's go ahead and get started. Super easy recipe, and excited to share it with you today. So let's talk about the ingredients that you're going to need. But before I do that, because I almost always forget this, if you like Italian food, and you certainly like easy Italian recipes, please subscribe, hit that notification button so that every time we come out with something new, you get notified. Okay, we really want to share this with you, but also please give the video a like because that really, really helps us. And we're trying to grow here, so any help we can get, we really, really appreciate. All right, well, enough of that. So what we're going to start with is about a pound of chicken. And this I actually bought at the store 50% off at Aldi. It's organic chicken, and they're chicken breast strips. So it comes prepared, it's cut in strips. So I thought that'd be really nice and kind of make it a little easier. Why was it 50% off? Well, that's because I happened to get there on a day when it was on the sell-by date. And so apparently I was told that when something is on the sell-by date or the day before, it's marked 50% off. So always check that out. And I think they do that up to 2 days in advance. So if you see something that is sell-by date, if you see the meat and it's a sell-by date of today or tomorrow, and there's no 50% off or discount ticket or sticker on it, go get somebody and ask them about that, because you can save yourself some pretty good money there. So I was really excited when I saw that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is cut up the chicken. And this is such a great recipe, an alternative to eating at, getting your chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A or any other fast food where, number one, the prices are getting really outrageous, whether, no matter what chain it is, but also just the ingredients in general. So I'm just cutting these about, I don't know, 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch wide. And you can do it thinner if you want. You can do it thicker if you want. But I kind of like mine a little on the bigger side. And let me just show you a close-up of this so that you can see. Okay, so this is about how big I am cutting them. Okay, so that is with the chicken breast, the chicken. Okay, so we know we need that. The next thing we're going to need is some white flour. Okay, now let's talk about the flour for a minute. You don't have to use white flour. You could use whole wheat flour. You can use gluten-free flour. And I don't know what other kind of flours there are. This is pretty much what I stick to. So let's see here. Finish getting this. Then what you're going to use about an egg. You take an egg, you beat it, use it with a fork, like this, okay, and it gets all nice and smooth. And all we really need, I think, is one. If I need another one, I'll go ahead and get one. So one thing about this recipe is that it's very, very flexible. I don't want that in there. And you can get exact measurements off of my website, okay? And then it's for a little larger quantity. This will probably produce about 25 chicken nuggets. So, and if you really want to spread it out, or maybe it's just like for a bunch of kiddos or something, or you're doing it as an appetizer, so you don't want them to be too big because you don't want everyone to fill up, just cut them a little bit smaller so no one's gonna cry foul for that. So what else do you need? You need seasoned breadcrumbs. I love this topic, talking about seasoned breadcrumbs, because you go to the store and try to go to the store, look for some Italian breadcrumbs and Italian seasoned breadcrumbs and look at the list of ingredients, okay? Because it is obnoxiously long. And to have really good Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, you don't need that. What do you need? You need regular breadcrumbs. You need some herbs. Now you can get a little flexible with the herbs here. I just like parsley. Parsley, black pepper. Okay. Sometimes you can, if you want to put a little bit of basil in there, that's fine too. Maybe a tiny dash of oregano if you're like really like a ton of seasoning. Again, this is simple Italian cooking, so we're not getting into all the complexities of all the different flavors and the herbs, but if that's the type of person you are, do it. Okay? This is about you. This isn't about me. I'm giving you how I make it. You take it and you run with it. You can follow along exactly as I have here, or take what I have and change it up a little bit. So, anyway, I can't find organic breadcrumbs at the store. I always talk about this. So I just make my own. And what I do is I'll take some bread. I will take maybe some sliced bread that's been in the fridge for a little while before it goes bad. Throw it into the blender, blend it up. Or I'll take like a French baguette, chop it up, throw it in the blender, grind it up. And I love it. It works out great. So, all right. So I think this is good. Yeah. I mean, you know what? And if you don't want to do chicken nuggets, you could do chicken tenderloins, right? Just get it from the store. Don't even bother chopping it up, and just use that. Okay, so we have this. So I am going to just put this back on the plate here and get this cutting board out of the way. Okay, so this is the part I really like. I've got some raw chicken here I want to wipe up. This is the cool part. It's making the seasoned breadcrumbs. Okay, so this is like so central to this recipe because it's Italian, right? So you got to have that Italian flavor. But it's not just the herbs that make a difference. So here's something that's probably not in the seasoning stuff mix at the store, and that is cheese. And I love to use grated Romano cheese, ground Romano cheese. And you got to check out my recipe about how to grind your cheese and save it and preserve it. I'll put the links below. Some really good tips for that. So I am using about 1.5 cups of regular breadcrumbs. Again, this is actually a mix of a little French baguette about this big. I mean, I have more of the breadcrumbs over there. I just took a little bit from it. And then I had 2 slices of white bread that were just sitting. It was the heel and the slice before the heel, and I never eat those. I don't like the heel, the end of it, and so because I don't like all the crust or whatever. Anyway, so I said, well, let's get it out of the fridge before it starts molding, and put that in. And that was pretty much it. But I mean, you can use cornflakes, you can use bran flakes, you can use a lot of different things. You can use gluten-free breadcrumbs, bread, and make your own breadcrumbs from it. So we're going to go ahead and add the cheese. Again, if you don't have Romano cheese, that's okay. Use Parmesan. That'll be fine. Okay? All right. And then I have about 2 tablespoons of parsley. I'm using dried parsley. I'm not using the fresh. And you'll notice I'm not using any oil. It's really not needed. Okay? If you want to add a little bit of oil, you can drizzle it at the end, which is probably what I'll do, just for that little bit extra flavor. If you have one of those spritzer olive oil things, that would probably be really good because it would get on there a little more evenly than drizzling. I don't have one of those, so. And I'm going to do about 3 or 4 turns on this black pepper. You don't have to use black pepper. I like to use it. You might be wondering, why am I not using salt? Okay, everybody uses salt. Everybody cooks with salt, right? You don't need it for this because we already have the salt that's in the cheese, the sodium and that saltiness, okay? So, gonna mix this up. And you want to mix it so it's really even in there, okay? And what I do, and I really encourage you to do this, and is I buy a block of cheese at like a BJ's Wholesale, Costco, and I'll buy it there, a block. And then what I do is I'll put it through a food processor, part of it what I want to use. And I use the I guess it's the grater disc, or it creates a grind, so the grind disc. I don't know what it's called, sorry, but anyway, it turns it into this beautiful powdery, and I just find it stays fresher that way. It's not being done somewhere else and packaged and then sent to the store and then waiting for me to come and buy it and then use it up. No, I buy it in a block. It's nice. I keep it in the freezer until I need it. Take it out. You can even break it up into chunks, put it in the freezer, whatever. Let it thaw, in the fridge, and put it in your food processor and grind it up, and there you go. Okay, ready? So what we're going to do is I'm going to do this the fast way. I think this is a wide enough bowl. So I'm going to do it the fast way, and instead of just doing one little thing at a time, I'm just going to dump it all in here. I'm going to use my hands, and I'm just going to mix it all up. A lot of times I use gloves. I don't have them here. I don't feel like getting them. But the order of dipping, just to let you know, is always flour, okay, that coats the chicken, then the egg, okay, that egg will stick to the flour, not slide off the wet chicken, and then into the breadcrumb seasoned mixture that we just made. At this point in time, we need to make sure that we have the oven. I'm using my Breville, it's an air fryer, toaster, oven thingy. Again, I'll put a review down there that I did. I'm going to heat that up to 400, okay? And 400 Fahrenheit. Okay, so we just want to make sure that every little cube is coated with the flour. And this is so much faster than doing it one by one, let me tell you. All right, good. And this is what we are looking for. And you can see zoomed in. This is really, really nice. This is what we're looking for. It's really, really good. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few at a time. Okay. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing, but I'm not going to do them all at once because I'm using a smaller container. I'm just going to put a few in. Okay, flip them over. Okay. And then when I need to clear out some space, now be careful that you don't take too much of the egg because you really don't need a lot. Okay, this isn't me just being cheap here, like trying to skimp. It's just, you just literally don't need a lot. Just want to coat it. Okay, and do a few more. Okay. Keep in mind that these breadcrumbs are going to only really stick where there's egg because the egg is sticky and wet. So if the flour, which is dry, touches the breadcrumbs, it's really not going to stick there much. So that's why you really want to make sure that the egg is fully coated. Okay, let's do the next batch. And we're just going to repeat this process until everything's used up. All right, so you can see I am mixing the coating the chicken with the breadcrumbs, and then I'm just going to put them on a plate. Could use a bigger plate, but this will be fine. It doesn't need to be a thick coating, okay? Your fingers are gonna get a little, you know, gunky from the egg and the breadcrumbs. Just have fun with it. Don't stress about it. Happens to all of us. I mean, if you're really picky, you could use a fork and do it one by one. Okay, that's going to take forever. No, thank you. So these chicken nuggets, these Italian chicken nuggets, these are great to be served as is. It can be served with, you can actually put it in a sandwich. You can put it in a salad. That's personally my favorite way. But you know what? Another thing you can do, and this is really good, if you're making just a regular dish of pasta, doesn't matter if it's long, short, whatever, right? And you have some pasta sauce, again, doesn't matter if it's store-bought, whatever. Throw some of these in. Oh, and you can, I almost forgot. So when you make these, if you have too many or you do a double batch or whatever, make sure to freeze some. If you're not going to use them all up, just put them in a nice airtight container. Put them in the freezer and they'll last. I mean, probably up to 6 months in the freezer. I mean, even longer if you're not picky about it. I mean, it'll lose freshness the longer it's in there. But anyway, take them out, let them thaw. And there you can use it, again, in a dish. Wouldn't take long to thaw these because these are going to be all cut up anyway. So maybe spritz it with a little bit of oil if you want, or just put them in a little pan. And you could saute it over the stove if you want, or just put them back in the oven for a little bit. All right, I'm going to finish up here. Doing good. We're making a lot here. This is good. And then we'll pop them in the oven. Okay. So to bake them, all you need to do, oh, let me dry this. I'm using, this is actually, I think, a cookie or pizza pan, I don't know. And I'm putting parchment in it. So parchment, this parchment says not to go above 420 when baking. So that's why I'm going to keep mine at 400. You can go, if you're not using parchment, you can use, you can probably cook these at 425 if you want it. But the basic time is about 15 minutes, but that's going to depend also on how big you're cutting the chicken. So I am going to keep mine at 400, and I'm going to cook mine for 20 minutes, but I'm going to flip them halfway through, okay? So you'll want to do that as well. So I'm just going to put these on here. And you just want to make sure that they're not really touching each other, and just space them out appropriately. Some are going to be bigger than others. Some are going to be smaller. Guess what? That's totally fine. Okay? The good news is that this is not like cookies, and they're not going to expand, so you can really squeeze them in here. But again, remember, you're going to have to flip them. So you don't want them too close to where you can't flip. Sometimes when you grate your own cheese or you buy it grated, you get these little clumps of cheese, and those are my favorites. Like, I love eating those. And my husband's always so sweet. He always, like, when he sees them and he's serving up the pasta or the cheese, he always gives me that cheese. So sweet, thoughtful. All right, so I'm just going to push them right in. And I'm going to clean up this ridiculously small plate that I was using, and then we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. One thing I forgot to do was actually drizzle it with the olive oil. Again, optional, but I do like it with the olive oil. So I'm just going to make sure it's a drizzle. So I'm going to put my fingers here, let it come out just a little bit. Don't want to overdo it because I want this to be healthy, right? So I just want it so that a few drops get on each. And that's good. All right. Now we're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up here. And remember, we're putting them in for 20 minutes, so I'll check them. And we need to flip them over halfway through. So in 10 minutes, that's what you got to do, okay? Even if you're doing the 15-minute, and 7.5 minutes, flip them over, okay? Okay, so just took it out of the oven and they look delicious. And it's so interesting to see the difference between these and the ones that are cooked in the olive oil. So these don't have that, like, I'm not going to say burnt, but they're not real dark brown. Or of course, if you want them to be, just leave them in longer or cook them at a little higher temperature. So anyway, yeah, these are looking really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and taste one. I'll take this one. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. These are obviously fresh out of the oven. Ow. Hot, hot, hot. Burn my mouth. Ah, so hot. Mmm. Mmm. Perfect. Mmm. The chicken's not dry. These are really, really delicious. You know what that is? Food music. Makes you happy. So that's it. So I really hope you try these. Super easy, healthier version. Italian chicken nuggets baked in the oven. So delicious. So let me know what you think of them. Put it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the notified button so that you get notified every time we put together these recipes for you. Well, thanks so much for watching. Grazie e ciao.